Okay, is Proboscis dead? I haven't gone through the patch notes. I actually don't know what they are. I saved my reaction so you guys can have a precious viewing experience. Boom, let it begin. So, how did we get here? We had a massive Bazaar update, which introduced new level up structure, a few vendor systems, a pretty big skill overhaul, how skills are acquired, and a pretty big item overhaul. Really, really massive patch, actually. Main problem, in my opinion, there was no balance. Like, they did not do a balance pass, in my opinion. And considering that it's been out for like a week or so, and now we're getting like not a small patch that's all balance changes, I actually believe they just didn't have enough time to get the balance update in. So I think they probably had this, brewing for a bit. I don't think these are like last minute changes. Okay, so I'm expecting this to be good. Like I think if they just like look at the balance and like nerf the really OP stuff, it's just so much better. Because in the patch we've been playing for a week, it's like Dooley, Bellista, 10 wins, right? And then you don't get that. Well, maybe you get 7 playing like the Burn Core. You're not playing the Burn Core? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Your run is bricked. You're done. You're cooked. Cooked. Honestly, that's why I didn't like playing Dooley. Dooley actually had the highest win rate. But like, that was the entirety of it. Almost nothing else could win. So it was just like massive balance differences. Anyway, so what do we got? Critical hits on multi-output items will now trigger on the entire output set. So if you have like a 5 multi, like if you had like a boat, it will all crit or all not crit. This is, in my opinion, a buff to weapons and maybe a nerf to survivability items. Why would it be a nerf to survivability items? Because if they don't crit, it might be a low point in which you die. But for weapons, it might be a high point in which you one-shot your opponent. Oh, it's not multi. It's multi-output. Oh, okay, I see. So it's like force field, which shields and does damage. They split these in a previous patch. And it actually nerfed force field, but force field was still really good. So this is actually just a big buff to force field, honestly. Okay. Big buff to force field and big buffs to several enchants. Like most shield and heal enchants follow the item's damage. So it actually makes the enchants that were some of the best ones even better. Rewards that provide upgrades now utilize the pedestal system instead of leftmost. Like you put the item in. That's good. Gumball machine, 5 gumballs at a time. Alright, shots. Your dreams have been answered. Fixed an issue with Pearl's Dig site was appearing in the wrong slot during hourly selection. Okay. Okay, Sylvia on day 1 was really dumb. You could actually get a diamond bushel on day 1 if you started with bushel, got another silver bushel on Sylvia, and then got the mushroom event, which is actually currently guaranteed on day 1. So this had very large implications. Lich encounter nerfed. So the health difference doesn't matter too much because Lich has crazy regen. Removed improved toxins. So this made the book do like, instead of 2 damage, it did like 8 or something stupid. Does this make Lich easy? No. I went up against Lich in this patch with like 5 or 6 of my very best completely cracked builds. And I beat Lich 1 time. Once. I only beat Lich once. And just so you know what I'm talking about, I lost to Lich with a 100 damage, 100 crit lifesteal scimitar. I lost to Lich. It had like 400 regen and the poison was like 500. I literally died in between an attack. Just so you know how overtuned it was. Just absolutely insane. So they're nerfing Lich by a lot, but that does not mean that Lich is easy. Lich is still going to be very hard. They are effectively not nerfing the regen, which means you can really only attempt Lich if you have crazy damage. If you don't have crazy damage, there's no way you can beat Lich. Thieves Gene Lamp removed due to bugs issues with the flow. Oh. Well, that sucks. I like those items. Astrolabe, these are Vanessa item changes. cooldown is now... Oh, so the cooldown was 6 at all levels, and now it starts at 6 at silver, and then goes 5, and then 4. No longer shields. Haste the weapon item for 2 seconds. When you use another non-weapon item, charge this 1 second. Okay, so the charge doesn't go up, the cooldown of the item goes down. Okay, so this does actually have some, like, I haven't gone through the patch notes. If they're doing changes like these, it's still a really big deal. Items that reduce their cooldown by a flat value when they level up, they preserve the increase. Sorry, they preserve the decrease. So for example, if you use like a golden feather and get the cooldown from 6 to 5.5, when you upgrade it to gold, it'll go to 4.5. And then when you upgrade it to diamond, 3.5. Now, if you're at diamond, it's going to take a lot more to go from 4 to 3.5. Okay, so this means that feathers are much more premium. And getting an astrolabe late game that's not high tier might still be quite usable because you can aggressively feather it. This is kind of how Harpoon worked, and why in some runs I would do really well with Harpoon. And people say, oh, you just play Harpoon in every build. You don't play Harpoon in every build. You had to really weigh in the timing of it. Okay, so again, I haven't seen the changes, but Astrolabe was one of the items that was effectively looping like crazy, so it looks like they're addressing at least some of those items. So this is obviously worse. This is obviously a nerf. But it can still be a very aggressive item for cooldown looping. Barrel is now shield 10. Oh, so it's still insane? Okay. Blowgun now starts at gold tier. Its cooldown is 8 and 6. A blowgun is a poison small weapon that does poison based on the damage of the weapon. It's actually, in the family and friends that I played, is a very good item. It just comes too late, and in the last few updates, they made diamond items a lot harder to get to. So if it's now at gold tier, and I think it previously was an 8-second timer. Actually, I can check. I can check this. So blowgun. Oh no, actually it is 6 seconds. Okay, 8 seconds might make it a bit worse. We'll see. I think this overall a good change. Chum now gives your aquatic items crit chance for the fight, so they doubled the crit. I thought Chum was pretty decent before, but mostly for like early game stuff, so it's okay. Silencer loses the tool type and gains the tech type. What? It's not a tool. Okay. So tech is a new item type, I guess. Interesting. So they're nerfing the value. Honestly, Silencer was the most important item if you played a one-weapon build, and the one-weapon builds were actually beating most looping builds. So if they're nerfing looping builds, it's pretty fair that they're nerfing Silencer also. Shiny additional instead of the bugged. Okay, yeah, so Shiny Silencer used to double its effect. So if you had it at Diamond, it gave minus 80 to cooldown, which is obviously stupid. People had like barely over 1 second on sniper rifles, which are base 10 seconds. Trebuchet's cooldown. So Trebuchet was overperforming because it went from 10 seconds to 8 seconds after silver. That was not intended. We knew that wasn't intended because it was in the patch notes that it was supposed to be 10 seconds. So it's no longer 8 at silver and higher. Icy Eels was freezing itself, so that I did not experience that, but that's pretty funny. So they have a ray type like officially in the game. Like I guess it's now like a tag on the item. So it's no longer just supposed that you know that it's a ray. Good change. Cannonade. So I actually tried to make a cannonade build. It did not work. It's just too crappy of an item. Too many shield items just completely blow out weapon builds. When using the weapon charge 2 seconds. That's a nerf. I think cannonade is nerfed. It's a little bit better early, and it's pretty good early, but I think overall it's a nerf. I think cannonade is probably a bit too weak now, actually. Captain's Wheel. So this is the item that gets charged if you use a larger vehicle. Haste adjacent items. The haste goes up. If you have a vehicle or large item, reduce the items cooldown by 50%. Oh, so they don't want it looping with charging. If you have one. This is actually pretty interesting because this makes it, if you're using a one weapon build, you can actually use a passive large item now. Like before, it had to be an active one to buff it. So now you can use like Crow's Nest, and if you have it at gold, you can perma-haste your solo weapon, regardless of any other typing. So this is, I would say, nerfed from the typical use case, but it has a new use case. Catfish always poisons 4, so it's like, wait, what? It still gains a larger and larger value when it gets hasted. So it gains poison value when hasted. So it still has that. It just makes it less garbage at bronze. Honestly, at bronze, I think it's pretty good. Catfish has a cooldown of 6 seconds. Poison 4, 6-second cooldown is really good. I think Catfish might be one of the items that you're looking for on day 1 Vanessa now. That's a significant amount of damage. Just so we're on the same page, most bronze weapons do not deal 4 DPS. And if Catfish fires twice, it's doing 8. Now, obviously, you have to average out for the whole fight, so it doesn't always do 8. It's not like an 8 DPS weapon, or that's not how it works, right? But I think Catfish at the bronze with Poison 4 will outclass any bronze weapon. Dockline starts at silver. That's good. Bronze Dockline sucked. Incendiary rounds reverted, so now it's just a passive item that burns. I think it's better at that. I don't know why a bullet would have a cooldown. Javelin is I think it's a reload on haste, and it's a pretty high damage medium weapon. I think at 4 seconds it might be usable. At 5 it was just a little bit too crappy. Submarine tech, torpedo tech. Pearl has a varying shield value when using an aquatic charge 1 second. So Pearl's cooldown is 5 seconds. So because its cooldown doesn't go down, I think the Pearl nerf is actually pretty harsh. I think Pearl is pretty dead. And I guess while Barrel is still insane, stacking a Barrel into endgame is going to be a lot worse because they nerfed the charge items like Pearl, I suppose, right? So it's an indirect barrel nerf, maybe. Pufferfish now has scaling poison. When you haste charge 2, Pufferfish has a cooldown of 8. So now you need 4 haste triggers. 4 haste triggers is quite hard. It's not impossible. You can put it between 2 jellyfish. Have, whenever you use an aquatic, haste a weapon. Whenever you use a non-weapon, haste a weapon. So that can be 4, for example. That's pretty hard to do, though. I think looping Pufferfish is kind of dead. You might have like a double loop, but even that looks to be pretty hard. So Pufferfish is quite nerfed, from what I can tell. Ramrod redesigned. This item was just garbage. I'm not even going to talk about it. What it was before is just terrible. So now it's an 8-second cooldown. Wait, it did not have a 4-second cooldown. I dispute that. Yeah, Ramrod had an 8-second cooldown. So maybe this is actually backwards. Reload adjacent ammo items. Your ammo items have crit chance. When one of your items are on ammo, charge this 1 second. Honestly, it still looks pretty bad unless it's a 4-second cooldown, because most ammo items are fast. So like if this is still an 8-second cooldown, it's pretty bad. If they just got these backwards, I think it's actually quite good. Trebuchet, the burn goes up, the damage goes up. It's always charge 2. So the cooldown, remember, it's still 10, so you need 5 haste or weapon triggers. This kills the item as a 1-weapon build. There's no way you can use Trebuchet in a 1-weapon build anymore. But it looks like it's still really, really good for a multi-weapon setup. What the best setup for that is, I don't know. Tripwire starts at gold. Whenever you use an item, slow 1 to 2. So this is the original Tripwire from Family and Friends, like 8 months ago. It's a very different game back then, but in that version of the game that you guys don't know anything about, it was actually a good item. And now that we have enchants, and now that enchants come a little bit earlier at level 10, I think it'll still be a pretty good item. Shield 10. No, shield 25 from 10. Your shield items gain shield for the fight. So it scales higher. Oh, wow. Charge 1. Honestly, I repeatedly lost the silver turtle shell last patch. It's literally the same at silver, right? It's literally the same. And it's not that dissimilar at higher tiers. Turtle Shell's still going to be really, really good. Wait, no, it's better at silver because it starts at 25. It's the same bonus and it's the same yeah, it's actually stronger at silver. Holy crap. Okay, so Turtle Shell's still insane. Water Wheel, the cooldown is higher but goes lower than the 8 seconds. Haste your other items 2 seconds. When you use adjacent item, charges 2 seconds. I saw Water Wheel in a few builds. It wasn't very good, but the competition for charge loops was very high. So now it looks like they nerfed most of them. I think Water Wheel might see some play. Pygmalion, Windmill, only charge the item to the left, and I still made a couple builds with it. It's still very good. Fix an issue with the Aprops Chapeau cost at silver tier. Okay. Bushel is just heal. Oh, it used to be heal 20. Now it's a huge heal. When you shield, charge 1. That is very nerfed, but good. Caltrops now starts at gold. This is a big deal for Crook. This is a big deal for Crook. It was really hard to find it at Diamond. That's the only reason it was bad, because by the time you'd find it, you'd pretty much have a setup and you'd probably already have like gumball crit buffs and stuff on it. Oh, Crook. Oh, okay, I guess we'll get there. Marble slow 1 item from slow 2, I see. When you use adjacent, charge 1. This is insanely nerfed, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Marbles is bull crap, dude. This thing needed to be gutted. Marbles is such an insane item that even at bronze, it was one of the best activators for proboscis on other classes. So it needed to be gutted. Matchbox actually has a respectable burn value. When you use a non-weapon, charge 1. Still very good item. It was actually an issue to scale the burn. Like let's be clear on that. I have died to plenty of Matchbox builds that had burn 3. So now that it's like burn 7, even if it's going off less, it's burning for more baseline. It's still pretty decent. So Crook does 16 damage. The damage doesn't go up. Your medium items have 8, 16, 24 instead of 10, 20, and 40. Ooh. Right. So if you have 5 of them, it's 120 damage instead of 200. Minus 80. It's going to be a lot harder to get Atlatl going. And on the flip side, it looks like Vanessa's shield items are not really that nerfed for the mid-game. And you might be thinking, well, who cares? Well, that's when you won with it. It's not like Crook can win on like day 15. It doesn't do that. Crook just kills the builds in the mid-game and finishes 10. And then you're done. I don't think it'll beat the shield builds, but that doesn't mean it's dead, because there might be other builds in the meta. Like if the meta is kind of like ramping burn, for example, I think a Crook build will still beat a ramping burn build in the mid game. So it's kind of meta dependent, but that is a big nerf. Model ship, 1 second charge, higher shield. Model ship in the mid game was quite strong, so I think it's still going to be quite strong in the mid game. Fort, 7 seconds. Insane shield value. Oh. Are you sure? Oh, I guess we just don't use this item anymore. Your items with a cooldown of 8 seconds or greater have +1 multicast. Interesting. You know what? I think it might be pretty good still. I like the change. There is some chance we never use it again. But I like the change. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool. Vineyard, higher cooldown into lower cooldown at Diamond. When you use an item, this gains heal equal to the value the item of for the fight. And now it does not charge. Well, that's dead. So is Landscraper. Fix an issue with Hogwash Tooltip. Gumball Machine would still cost gold every hour. It's now a toy. Oh, we have toys now. Ice cream truck. 8 second. What the hell? Bro, which one of you idiots was using ice cream truck? I made like 1 build with it in like 2 months. I've never seen anyone else use it. They nerfed it. Dude, does Reynad have like a bad experience buying ice cream from those like chiming trucks that drive down your street? What happened? Guilty. There's a reason for it later? Okay. Buff with Fort. That's too much crap on the board now. Doonly, duct tape. Oh, so it's back. Good. I like the old duct tape. It was good. I don't think it was like broken good. Fixed Omega and Gamma Ray tooltips to mention themselves. First Aiden Turbo now doubles haste ratio instead of adding a second haste effect. I didn't know it added a second haste effect. Ballista, higher damage. When you haste, this gains a lot less damage at silver, half at gold, but at diamond, it's still really high. When this gains haste, charge 2 seconds. Yeah, this is still a really, really strong item. It's just like, it's kind of garbage at silver, which might be enough to balance it. Because Bellista wouldn't actually beat, like, day 14, 15. But it would beat everything else until then, right? So this might actually be good enough. Blast doors, holy moly. Dude, like bronze blast doors is 150? Like, it'll go off once and then it'll trigger once. So it on day 1 it doubles your health. That's actually kind of crazy. So you have a ray type, a dinosaur type, solar farm is a tech type. Haste your other items 1, 2, 3, gain regen when you burn, charge 2. It was a little egregious at 3. I think solar farm looks really good actually. This is really good. I like it. Oh my god. That's broken. That's broken, guys. It's a power drill meta. I'm calling it. I have warned them. I have warned them. That's a problem. Not this meta. Before the charge meta, at diamond, you had power drill charge for 2, and you were able to infinitely loop it like crazy. At bronze, it charges for 2. Which means any tier is valuable because you can probably scale its damage with skills. I'm snitching. This is not okay. This is going to be a problem. I think what they need to do is keep it at 1 second, but make its cooldown not 10. Make it like 8 or something. So you might be thinking, why is that a problem? Okay. Well, you can have like a haste or a slow effect from like one of the 2 corners. You can have a haste effect from the metronome, and you can have a few other things, like when you use a weapon or something like that, and it can be enchanted. I think you can quite easily get to 3 triggers, fairly easily to 4, and then 5 is infinite. Read the rest of the notes first. Okay. Race Carl, when you haste, charge this 2 seconds. That's just like worse than power drill, basically. When you use a tech, charge this 2 seconds. Cool. Arc Blaster, when you use a tech, charges 1 second. This is still an 8-second cooldown item. This seems a bit crappy. Cool LEDs. So it's now silver. When you use the core, charge 1. Honestly, it's still pretty good. Hamlet, 6-second cooldown when you slow, charge 1. Honestly, that's still pretty good. The item itself is nerfed, but before it was all or nothing, and now it's just a pretty good card, pretty good item, right? It's just pretty good. Simple. Because if you have 1 slow in each of your cycles, it's a cooldown 5 friend that does damage. That's fine. Armadillo, when you shield, charge 2. Bit weak. When you use a small, so Micro Dave is quite nerfed. Tesla Coil is no longer a tool, but a tech. When you use adjacent tech, charge. So a lot of cool tech synergies on Dooley. I like this. I might have to figure this one out. I can't really say for sure how powerful this is going to be, because there's too many things coming in all at once. But I like to see these changes. Tesla Coil is the most nerfed item. We'll see. Companion Core Haste adjacent. Oh, I like it. Good change. So this means that you're going to run hybrid builds with companions, and you don't have to always go full companions. I think that's a good change. It's obviously going to nerf the core, but I think it's a good change. Brick Buddy, shield 30. When you use adjacent friend, gains shield for the fight. So Brick Buddy is not really changed, but the companion core being nerfed from hasting absolutely everything inadvertently nerfs Brick Buddy, so that's fine. Motherboard tech, okay. All cores, antimatter chamber, capacitor, chrono barrier, claw, okay. Tech type, okay. What the hell is this? Cooldown 10, destroy this in 3 small items. What the? Why don't we just delete that item? Force field, GPU, LEDs, lens, light bulb, memory card, nitro, red button, atomic clock, battery, charge station, are no longer a tool, but gain the tech. Okay. Cog is no longer a tool. Cool. Okay. Octopus Shiny is now +8 multi. Okay, so presumably, maybe it'll make it a Vanessa item, I guess. That's kind of fun. Multi-tool now gives your items +10 crit on activation instead of passively giving itself 50 crit. That's good. Multi-tool is the Stella, I think her name is. She only has like 8 items, so when you go to the Stella vendor, you almost always get a multi-tool. The multi-tool is a 4-second cooldown tool that gives haste and slows. So it's actually very good. And this is a buff. This is good. Crit scaling. There's a lot of crit. Earrings is like a Mac item. Does not seem that good. Pendulum is a Mac item as well, but Pendulum is on at least 1 monster, if not 2 monsters. Haste items. The haste goes up. Adjacent items have more crit. When you crit charge 2. Wow. That's really good. This is probably going to be a chase item for the Mac vendor. If you want crit and haste, Mac vendor is even better now. Oven mitts got over nerfed, in my opinion. So now they haste for more, now they shield for more, and now when you burn, charge 2. And this is a buff. Usually you got oven mitts early, and it often was on silver. So this is actually fine. I think it'll be usable now. Proboscis, when you slow, deal damage. It's dead, guys. Rip in peace, Proboscis. 2025 to 2025. Weather machine no longer a tool. Neurotoxin Verti's adjacent weapon. Cryo sleeve. Freeze adjacent items for 1 second from freeze for 2 seconds. When AMing gives freeze. Shield. When one of your items against freeze, reduce the duration by half. Whoa, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Venom, poison 3 when you use adjacent poison for the fight. That's pretty strong. Whose item is Venom? Where's that from? So this is a Mac item. So it has a 3-second cooldown. Poison 3. When you use an adjacent weapon, it gains poison. That's a really good item. Like, that's a really, really good item. Especially with all the nerfs to, like, looping stuff. That's really, really good. Cauterize, Rapid Thaw, and Stout Fire. Rapid Thaw was the anti-freeze. I actually really liked it. I don't know what some of these are. Cauterize, when you get burn, heal. Oh, and the Stout Fire is when you gain burn, shield. Oh, regen. Oh, I like this one. Those are removed? Damn, dude. I thought these are good. I like these. Stout Fire especially, you could burn yourself to trigger it. Items have poison for each weapon. That's cool. When you have 4 or fewer items, your weapons have +75 damage. Heavy firepower. That's cool. The 7 items cooldown. Wow, 15 CDR if you have 7 items. Wow. 7 items, your weapons deal 30 damage. That's not that good. There's usually better ways to gain damage on weapons. The first 10 times you use a weapon each fight, charge 1 heal item 1 second. What? Huh? The first 10 times you slow, charge 1 heal. What? These are just things you don't pick. When you use the core, slow an item for 2 seconds. That's like okay. Healthy heart. The first time you fall below half, heal for 30% of your health and cleanse half your burn and poison. That's good. New skill, when you burn with an item, poison 1 to 2 your poison item. Burn. Oh, so when you burn poison, when you poison burn. But it says with an item, so you can't cascade this from skills. First 8 times use a weapon each fight, charge 1 poison item. It's just like weapons and poison don't have that much synergy. Slow, charge 1 burn. And these are so specific. I don't know if I like these that much. If anything, these need to be stronger. Like, imagine getting a diamond skill the first 10 times you slow, charge 1 burn item 1 second. Like, that's so gradual. Like, there's not really many instances where the fight starts and you slow 10 times. Because if you could, and like fast trigger a burn item, that would be usable, right? But like, it's not easy to slow 10 times right away, which means it's just like having an item be slightly faster. It's literally like applying an 8% cooldown reduction to your burn item. That's it, right? Double the damage of your left weapon for the fight when you fall below half health. Wow, that's pretty good. Shield charge. So you just change the number of times it can trigger. 10 times haste. Flurry of blows. Use the weapon. It's quite a lot of skill changes. Wait a second, these... Oh no, that's previous patches. Okay. I'm like, dude, did they redo the entire skill system? No. So they basically changed all these unlimited ones to only trigger like 10 times. That's fine if you're playing fast, and obviously it's a massive nerf if you're playing slow. I guess the takeaway here is that they're nerfing slow/ramping builds. Actually, they're not really nerfing ramping builds because you're still ramping at that speed, and then you're ramped, it's a little bit worse. So usually the ramping builds, if they get to that critical level, like basically if the brick buddy hits like 1,000 shield, you know, it's over. If it's charging a little bit less often at that point, it doesn't really matter, right? So it actually doesn't affect the ramping builds very much. It mostly just affects slow builds. Slow, non-ramping builds are nerfed, is the takeaway. Bullet time, unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. Bloodhound starts a slower first time below half. Charge your items 2, 3, 4. They buffed Bloodhound. I was actually going to say that from the item changes alone, I think one weapon of Vanessa builds are the strongest builds in the game overall. And this is a big buff to those. Weapons have damage for each aquatic item. So you have like 10 aquatic, 90 damage. That's okay. Start of each fight, haste. Oh. Ooh. Yes. Bro, if your boat is too slow, it doesn't even go off. Oh, Bloodhound just doesn't exist at bronze. Oh, it's not buffed. Oh, okay, right. It's not that rushed. From unlimited. Slow charge poison. I feel like all these skills are gonna be kind of bad. They're gonna dilute the pool. And I don't see nerfs to some really powerful ones. I mean, I guess Shield Bash is there, but like if you're using a hammer with Shield Bash, they still die, right? Crescendo. Building Crescendo. Oh. Now this is base crit by 100 from 50. That doesn't do that much. Crescendo is still the best crit skill by a pretty big margin for like one-shot builds. Haste 2 of your poison item for 2 seconds from haste all. Starting at gold tier, this is actually a buff. You'd usually use this for a kickstart trigger, and you'd rarely have more than 2 or 3 poison anyway, but now being at gold is a buff. So Crashing Waves was perma haste for the one weapon boat build. It was one of the best options, and now it doesn't work. So that's a little iffy there. Well, I guess they're nerfing boat. They nerfed Proboscis. Scimitar. Scimitar life, baby. A buffed chemical fire. That's pretty cool. Fix the issue with tooltip. Shoot enchantments. Oh, okay. No more discount bin reloads. Finally. Alright. Fixed an issue where enchanted lemonade stands showing on merchants would give the passive buffs to players permanently, even if not purchased. Those bastards. So like you'd see a burning lemonade stand and you'd sell like 10 small items and you'd give like plus 10 burn to your matchbox, even if you didn't buy it. Those thieving lemonade assholes. That is a wild bug. I never even heard of that. We'll now give the encounter portraits or sparkle. Okay. Good changes. Honestly, I feel like one weapon builds are going to be quite a bit stronger, and they were already some of the best builds if you knew how to navigate them. And power drill. That's pretty OP. That's pretty insane. Yeah.